What's up, everybody? This review, we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends Nemesis Build-A-Figure wave, Fabian Cortez. Now, this is a figure I wanted for a very long time. I like the acolytes. I just remember, Cortez's role with Magneto, giving him powers or increasing his powers and then taking it away, that sort of thing. Um, and then when Colossus joined the acolytes, I thought that was huge. Um, so I'm glad to finally get Cortez in there, and maybe we'll get the rest of the acolytes. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, here he is inside the packaging. You can see the different accessories. He doesn't really get much, but other side, some artwork. You get the back, a little bit of a bio. Rest of the figures in the wave. More of that artwork, and let's get them open and check them out. All right, so here's Cortez outside of the packaging, and he looks pretty cool. Simple body with a couple little things done to him. Accessory wise, he's got one hand. It's kind of a grabbing hand, grasping hand, reaching. I love this sculpt. I know I say it all the time. Probably gonna always say it. I wish they would just include something like this for everybody. So many different expressions you can get with that. He gets a kind of like a grabbing hand, the C hand. He's got two little effects, power effects. A really nice plastic that's used, really nice translucent. And that looks really good. And then he gets the Build-A-Figure part, the leg, and then we've got him himself. So he doesn't come with much. The alternate hands and the other, the power effects. We can throw those effects on there real quick. I'm just gonna slide them over your hands. And that looks really cool. Maybe got him posed blasting, that sort of thing, but yeah, they just kind of rest on his hands, so not much you're going to be doing with that. But looking at him, he's got a nice head sculpt. You can see the little brow lines. Eyes are done really well. Nice paint around for the lips. Got the folds in the face. I mean, looks really nice. The hair looks good. I like that sculpt. This little, I guess I'd say comms. It's a weird thing that he always had on his face. The tie, the hair, long hair, the cape. You can see where it plugs in right there to try and keep it a little stable, I guess. And this hair doesn't rotate that I know of, so I would be careful with that because it kind of feels a little like if you mess with it too much, you're going to tear it. It's going to tear. Try to plug that in a little bit better. Yeah. Got the armor. It's a nice sculpt. Nice way that they did the cape in there. Just kind of plugs in or loops through it. You can see there. You can kind of take the cape off like that if you can see that. And then you unplug it from there and you can slide it all the way off. And then you'll have no cape, which is kind of cool because then you get this armor and then you can put your own cape on there. So pretty nice. Skin tone looks okay. The face actually has a little bit of shading, the cheeks. Then when you get to the neck, you can tell it's it's molded in this color and like in the blue, and then you're trying to paint this white on top of it. You can tell it looks a little bit different from the face, and then the arms are just a little bit different from that. So kind of like 3 different shades, really. You get the gloves that look really good, but no wash or anything like that. No dry brushing, nothing to bring out any details. Same thing with the body. A little bit of a missed spot in the paint under the chest and there. Nothing too crazy though. It's just a basic body with different hands and boots. We've seen this body plenty of times. So when they do a basic body, they need to get the paint work done really good, or the sculpting really good. And I do like the way that this is done, but a little dry brushing would have kind of made that pop a little bit more. Maybe some shading in the legs, just to make it feel a little more premium, since he doesn't really come with too much. But I think it looks good. For articulation, he's got the hinge. You can see that there. You can look down pretty far. You can look up pretty decent before his hair starts to get in the way. And again, you want to be careful of that. Of course, left to right, slight tilt. Not much. Butterfly joints. T-pose goes out to a T before the armor starts to get in the way. But at least you get the T out of it. Upper bicep, double jointed elbows, pinless. Of course, the peg and hinge all at the wrist and hands. No diaphragm cut. This is just like one of those earlier basic bodies, really. Ab crunch goes forward pretty good. Of course, goes back way far. And one thing is they did do the paint all the way up, so it doesn't really break up that little shape. It does look odd when you do it, but that's cool. It's always good when you go up through there, because you might have them tilted back just a little bit like that, which is kind of a natural pose. You can lean back like that. That's not so much. Even if you go back a little bit, it's good to have that extra paint. It's not cut off or anything like that. You get the waist cut. Leg goes forward about that far. Upper thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knees. And for this, this body, he does look really good. Looks really smooth. No boot cut. These are different boots, and they look like they slide over the calf a little bit. Then you get the hinge and pivot, all that good stuff in the ankles. And that's it for his articulation. We'll try to switch out some of these accessories real quick. So all I did was just switch out this hand and then put the other accessory back on top of that hand. This other one's pretty much the same. Nothing to really do with that one. This is pretty much how he's going to be on the shelf. And I can get some really nice crouching. The cape doesn't look as good because it's farther, of course. If you had like a soft goods, you can let it drape nice. But even then, you can use that cape to help balance things, even though he doesn't really need the cape for this pose. To help him balance, he can hit it pretty good. Yeah, it looks nice. And here he is next to two awesome characters that he kind of deals with. So Colossus, I would really like to see in his acolyte suit. I would really like to get a version of it. And this one isn't really like my most favorite Colossus figure. I really love the Marvel Select version still. I think it looks really good. And this is the Magneto from the 3-pack. So, they definitely kind of are going to be linked in those scenes. But yeah, you can see the difference in them. I think him and Magneto, maybe Magneto should be a little bit taller. But I don't think that they've nailed Magneto yet. This is really close, but I think they just need to keep taking shots at it until they get them done pretty nice. But yeah, I like the scaling though. Otherwise, with Colossus, all of them really. These figures could use some kind of shading though. I think that's probably why I'm a little off on Colossus. The select one looks really good. The paint job on it. This one's really shiny and slick. He doesn't really got anything to help bring him out, and neither does Magneto. Everything kind of went into his face in that area, like some shading, but that was about it. Yeah, pretty cool. And then let's see what we got here. Maximum Spidey. So taller, bigger than Max Spidey. A Mythic Legion's skeleton with some Templar soft goods that I've been kind of still working on. Mythic Legions are like a taller scale. Yeah, pretty crazy. You'll probably work out the skeleton with a scene with Cortez, or any of them. And the G.I. Joe Retro Viper. Probably the same, like bulky wise, but height wise, Cortez is taller, which is cool. All right, so that's going to be it for this review. Pretty straightforward, just one of those basic Marvel Legends bodies. Um, the paint is pretty decent. I like the slick. He does have a slick suit whenever he's in the comics, and they nailed it with the simple paint job. But a bit of a dry brushing would have helped make that suit look a little more dynamic. A little bit more dry brush everywhere. For the most part, it's a pretty good figure. Basic articulation, all pinless, no diaphragm cut, just the ab crunch. Um, I don't really know what else you could have did for this guy. I think they nailed the look. He's a pretty simple design, um, and I think they did a really good job with it. Maybe throw in another head sculpt or another hand, but mostly just like maybe a little dry brushing or something could have made it pop some more. But the head sculpt is really nice, and that's one of my big things. So they nailed that. And again, the basic paint and stuff is really good. Just needed a little bit more. But other than that, yeah, I think it's pretty good. And again, I hope we see more of the acolytes. Some of those bigger guys, and especially Colossus in there. So yeah, it'd be really, really, really cool. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this review. Hopefully, I showed you enough to see whether you want to add it. Do you think they're gonna make any more acolytes? Then you definitely want Fabian here. If you think they're gonna make any others, but maybe you don't care for them like that. But hopefully, this was enough to help everybody out. See what you like, don't need it, that sort of thing. But yeah, I will catch y'all in the next one. Later.